to take a step out, get some air now, let your edge out. To some iceberg, you'll be heavy in my mind. Can you get the heck out? I need rest now, got me bummed out. You, baby, baby, baby. I've been on my empty mindset. I should've kept from choosing the best of me. I worry that I wasted the best of me. Oh, yeah, baby, you don't care. Sometimes I be a nuisance, it's just urgent. Tryna make sense of little change, got me a war in my mind. Better let go away, think he was holding me. Choose the right, but it will break up in front of me. All the while, I wave my arm, I'm feeling a smile. Still wanna try, still believe in good days. Always inside, good days in my mind. Don't be on my fears, my limitations. I disappear if you let me. Feeling like Jericho, feeling like kiss me, dangerous. Been so lost without you all around me. Get anxious. Need me, need to talk right now. Feel lost, but I like it. Comfort in my sins and all about me. All I got right now. Feel a taste of resentment. Simmer in my skin. It's all about. Cause stain on my shirt, new bitch on my nerves. Oh, nigga got curved. Going back on my word. Been bitch thirsty. Still don't know my words. Still stressing perfection. Let you all in my mental. Got me looking too desperate. Damn. Wait till all day sunshine. I found a way to fuck it up still. Can't cry about the shit that I can change it. My mind gotta get out again. Tough crowd, can't stay. Need to talk right now. Feel lost, but I like it. Comfort in my sins and all about me. All I got right now. Feel a taste of resentment. Simmer in my skin. It's all about. The stain on my shirt, new bitch on my nerves. Oh, nigga got curved. Going back on my word.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kiana, but on here I go by the Modern Sim, and we are back for another episode of the Unfinished Business Let's Play series. It's been a minute since I have posted this series or even filmed this series. I think my last video for this series was 2.5 months ago, 2, maybe 3. I have to check, but it's been a minute. Now I do want to quickly say that if you are watching this video and you are a previous viewer of mine, you're wondering why my voice is sounding a little different, it is because I am recovering from a cold. You notice like, oh, her voice sounds a little weird, a little congested. That is why, but I didn't want to put off filming this video till my voice became clear, because who knows when that'll be, you know what I'm saying? So I don't want this intro to be any longer than it needs to be, so without further ado, let's get into this episode. So we are starting this episode off the day after where we last concluded. If you don't remember episode 3 or you haven't seen it in a minute, you don't really remember all the details, I'll quickly give you a quick summary of what happened. So in episode 3, we dove a little bit here into Winnie's story. We followed her as she went to San Myshuno to get some work done. Every now and then she has to go into the city where her firm, her company, because she works in PR, her company is stationed, like their main offices, and so she has to go in there to work. Now this time it was a lot different, and the reason why this was a lot different and not like her typical times for going to the city for work, it was the start of a new client that she was working with, and this client and her have had quite a bit of history. So the client that she ended up having to work with, his name was Micheal Abbott. Is not basic looking. I'm gonna have to change that because that don't even make we're gonna have to change that because what? This is Micheal Abbott. Now Micheal and Winnie have had history. They used to work in the same office together at one point, and that is because during the beginning part of her career. After she had graduated college, Winnie ended up getting an internship for the PR company that she works for now. They were working on Victor Fang's political campaign, and Micheal was the campaign manager. Oftentimes they saw each other at the office and like talked here and there or whatever, but like there was always like a vibe between them. They kind of just kept it, hi, how you doing, things like that. But then, one thing led to another. They kept continuing to talk to each other, hang out with each other at the office. And, one thing led to another. One night, they were working at the office pretty late. Winnie was in his office and, things happened. And thus began their affair. Micheal is and has always been, since Winnie has known him, a married man. She's always understood that his marriage with Kennedy, which is his wife, has never been like a marriage for love. It was basically like a contract, like business more than anything. And so that's how like she kind of was able to like be okay with the idea of being with Micheal. Their affair lasted for quite a bit of time, and it unfortunately had to come to an end for reasons that we have not gotten into yet. But so on Monday, Winnie came into the city to have this initial meeting with Micheal. He did not know she was going to be there. Winnie kept it very, very, very professional. Asked him, the questions that she's supposed to ask him, because they're working on his campaign, and, got to get a little bit into like, okay, so there's some stuff you got hidden, like we're getting to know now. He tells her that like his wife is pregnant. So there's that, and it's a little tension and whatnot, but meeting goes well. They wrap up, and then she gets a message from Micheal asking to meet him after work for a drink so they can talk, catch up, and pretty much clear the air. And that is pretty much what happened. Had a pretty good time catching up, and it's almost as things had kind of reset and they had kind of fallen back into ease that they once had. And by the end of the night, both were a little tipsy and a kiss was shared. So immediately after that, they both decided to part ways. And where we concluded our last episode was Winnie contemplating, this whole arrangement and being so essentially ashamed and upset with herself for falling back easily into, the thing that she had with Micheal. So we are starting this episode off with Winnie. This would be a like dual episode. So we'll start with Winnie, and then we'll see Naomi later in this episode, and you'll get to see, how she gets, incorporated in this episode. So like last episode, we are starting this episode bright and early. It is currently 4:10 in the morning, and Winnie is up because one, she could not sleep because, as you can see, her emotions are like kind of keeping her awake, but also she is just naturally an early bird. And so she did a quick workout, a little jog, and she's getting ready for work. And not only is she up because of work, she is also up because she got a text bright and early this morning, really like late last night, I guess, from Micheal asking to chat and meet up with her. So I'm sorry, Winnie. She just looks so heartbroken, but that is something we're going to have to do before work. He asked her, not she gonna go cry, meet with him before work to talk again because, like I said, they shook that kiss. So maybe he just wants to clear the air. We don't really know. Winnie doesn't really know. So that is what she's going to do in a few. I'm just going to have her, change her clothes. Winnie, you can't go cry. We don't have time because we have quite a few things to accomplish today. I'm talking about Winnie for her job, for her work. And so after she's done, we're going to go ahead and head over to the art center, which Micheal requesting that we meet him at, because at this time of morning it is pretty much empty. It's 5 o'clock in the morning, and so no one's really going to be there, and it leaves enough time for them to actually have a chat. And he knows that Winnie doesn't like to be late for work, so we're going to go ahead and have her go there, and I will see you guys when we get to the art center.
Either way, you're with me or not, just know that I'm okay. I wish you the best life if that's the case. Plus I needed time for myself anyway. I'm done with chasing, Done wasting energy you can't replace. I'm over the pressure of doing things your way. When you left, that shit was hard, but it gave me a fresh start. Now that we departed, your feelings disregarded. Oh, I'ma be me regardless.
Alright guys, so we have made it to the art center where Winnie and Micheal have decided to meet. Now on their way here, Winnie in her mind was preparing the things that Micheal could have wanted to discuss, but she knows Micheal and she knows that it most likely was going to be about the kiss. So she's been, thinking and wrapping her own mind around, her thoughts about the kiss and what should happen in her own mind. She's like, it's a mistake. And these are things that she's, been essentially meditating on in a way since they last met, but also heavily on her way to the art center. So Micheal, he's of course going to start, the conversation off, asking her, how have you been? Things like that, keeping it very light. Initially, I've been doing great. Thanks for asking. Life is good, but we know Winnie, we know like this. Yeah, life has been good pretty much up in between, before Micheal and meeting Micheal now. But life has been pretty good in between. So I feel like Winnie's being kind of like a little obtuse and be like, yeah, life is good, try to remain unfazed and things like that. But I think Winnie is going to speak her mind about it, but she's going to allow Micheal to take the head of this conversation initially to kind of see like what he's about to say and what the moves he's about to make. But yeah, so they're talking. He's like, how you been, She's like, yeah, I still have a, slight hangover. He's gonna be like, I actually, bought these hot chocolates or these drinks for, you. I know it's really early in the morning and I can imagine like you might need your fix of coffee or something like that. The way she quickly moved that cup, it's actually taking me. But, she's kind of waiting for him to say something. Not the anti-Micheal. She's kind of waiting for him to say something. She's like, okay, is he going to say something? Like, he didn't just call me here for no reason. I know he has something to say. And so Micheal, sensing that, like, she wants him to just, like, go ahead and just, like, say what he needs to say. He's going to compliment her outfit, like, you look good today, really put together. And she's like, yeah, well, I got to go to the, office, after this. So she said, I got to put in, a lot of effort to, look this good, but thank you for the compliment. And he's like, well, I don't want to hold you any longer than I need to. I just want to, clear the air, again. And she's like, yeah, And she's like, well, I've been thinking about a lot about us and, about the, other night. And, I just kind of want to, clear the air again so we can maintain our professional relationship. And, yeah, and, Winnie's like, listen, we both were a little drunk, and, we just got carried away, swept up in, probably old emotions, nothing how we feel, of course, now or anything like that. And she's like, it definitely was a mistake and it shouldn't have happened and you don't have to worry about it happening again. And he's like, as much as I would love to say, that I just drunk and things like that, but he's like, but the truth is I have still wanted that. I would have still wanted that sober and I don't regret it. And Winnie's like, I still deeply care for you, but I know in order for this dynamic to work, we must keep this strictly professional, and that's just what I intend to do. And he's like, yeah, I definitely understand, and I feel the same way, so we're good. And she's like, yeah, we're good, I'm sorry, it's just the way he was staring at her. And he's like, I don't want to make you late or anything like that, so I'm just gonna. Is he about to flirt with her? Anyways. He's like, I hope you enjoying the coffee and things like that, but I don't want to keep you any longer than I need to. I'm gonna let you get to work. I know you don't like to be late. So as you can see, like, it's time for her to go to work and things like that. So I'm gonna have Micheal go ahead and say goodbye. Like I said, they both have to get off to their respective places. I think it's crazy how he threw in a little flirt in there real quick. But I feel like that was him kind of saying, like, reaffirming what he was already saying. Like, I still wanted that, I'm not even gonna lie to you, I'm not even gonna hold you. I still wanted that sober, but you know, in order to keep this dynamic that we have, you know, I'm going to keep it professional. We're going to keep it professional. And she's like, yeah, you don't have to worry about me. And he's like, well, anyways. But like I said, Michael's already, you know, he's already left. So I'm going to go ahead and have Winnie go ahead and travel to the office. And I will see you guys there because she has quite a bit of work to do. It's him running in the background. Hilarious. Alright, guys, so we have made it to her job. It's been about a couple hours. She's currently working on a couple of things. Right now, I think she's just writing to continue to raise her writing skill and things like that. And then in a minute, I'm going to have her write. What does it say? Will she write a trending blog to followers? So let me go ahead and have her do that. Working blog for followers. I might end up turning off fame. Cause I don't know if I want her to become famous, but maybe I. Why is she flirty? Ready for some. I forgot I updated my mod. I'm really not sure what mod is causing this, the Ready for Smashing from a Woohoo drive, but hey. I'm pretty sure it's probably Lumpinu mod. Lupino mod. You get all the fun and amazing interviews. People love coming to read about them. Winnie has gained 175 followers. She now has 1325 followers in total. And as you can see, our coworker from the other day literally just walked past, and he's honestly kind of been walking past all day. You know, Winnie's pretty much like been hungered inside of this office since she got here. What was that, at 8? So for past like 4 hours she's just been in here busy working, answering calls, emails, coworkers. She's kind of been like noticing that she's kind of been in her thing, in her bubble. But in particular, the coworker, you know, who saw her the other day has been walking back and forth. So his name is William, and William is he's very nosy, okay? He just likes to be in the know, especially when it comes to the things happening at the office. He also has tons of connections and knows a lot of people. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. But William is actually gonna come in here over here, and he's just like thinking about it just a little bit, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna walk in there and I'm just gonna check in on her, you know? And Winnie's just like, you know, continuously to type what she needs to type. But she's a good multitasker, so she's like, you know, waiting for him to speak up because obviously he came to see her, talk to her about something. So it's just like, you know, how you been? You've been in his office, you know, all day, you know. I'm sorry, it's her being flirty. You've been, you know, but okay, not you checking Winnie out. Anyways, aren't you married? Isn't that a ring on his finger? Yeah, William. Anyways, I'm gonna ignore that. But yeah, he's just gonna come here and check on her and be like, hey, you know, I've just been noticing that you've been, you know, in this office all day, you know, busy working. You haven't really mingled with, you know, the other, you know, I'm just, you know, coming in here to check on you, you know, make sure things are all right, you know, that you're not working yourself to death or anything like that. And she's like, you know, just getting work done, you know, I got tons of things to do, you know, work never stops for me. He's just talking standard, you know, office talk, very, very surface level, you know, like, you know, oh, I heard that such and such is having a, you know, drinks tonight. Maybe you want to come out, you know, have some drinks with us too or something like that. And she's just like, I'll see, you know. And then he's just like, you know, speaking of drinks, the other night, like, me and my wife went to go have some drinks and some dinner at like this new restaurant. I think it's in like the arts arts district. I can't remember. And it was just so good. And she's like, oh, like, do you remember the name of it or whatever? And he's like, no, I can't remember, but it was like, on a rooftop. Like, it's some new spot that not everyone has heard of. It just has like the most, beautiful view of the city, and like, I'm pretty sure you'll love it. She's like, do you, like, what's the name of this restaurant? Like, and she's like, the way you describe it, like, what's the name of this restaurant? And he's like, I just really can't think of the name right now, but like, me and my wife went there, like, just Monday night, and we saw some interesting things, like, so many different people to see there. And it's in this moment when he's kind of like, rooftop restaurant, like, in her mind, it's not really, clicking, what I'm saying? She's like, oh my gosh, like, this just sounds like such an amazing place. Like, maybe I'll go before I leave and whatnot. So she's telling him these things, and like, oh, okay, like, what's on the menu and stuff like that. And he's like, oh, we just had, like, it's a kind of fancy place, looks like a place like elite people will be, very, at this point, it's very private and secluded. So I definitely think you should go, before, everyone finds out about it, and the whole thing blows up and everyone's in the know about it. And Winnie's just sitting there for a second. She's like, just keeping it light and surface, and not really changing her face or anything like that. But like, the way he keeps talking about this restaurant, and like putting so much emphasis on like it being private, secluded, and so interesting, and how you went the other night, it's kind of starting to like click in her mind. So she's gonna ask him, she's like, where was it again and whatnot? And so he's like, oh yeah, Arts District or Arts Quarter, one of those things. I always get those messed up. And she's like thinking in her mind, she's like, Arts District, Arts Quarter, and she's like thinking like, maybe it's that restaurant I went to the other night with Micheal. And so she's like thinking about it, but she's like, going to dismiss it, but like, oh well, he probably didn't see anything, he probably didn't see us there, what I'm saying? Like, we were on the balcony and everyone else was in the inside and things like that. So she's like, going to push past it. But in the back of her mind, it definitely did trigger just a little bit of something, just something to think about, ponder about. Like, a little seed was planted. William's just like, yeah, very good place. Definitely recommend you try it, and maybe take someone with you next time or whenever you decide to go. And she's like, yeah, maybe I will. And so he's like, anyways, I didn't want to talk your ear off. I know you got tons of work to do. Why is she rolling her eyes at him? Maybe she knows. Maybe she's peeping, like, hold on. But she knows that William is basically like the office gossip, what I'm saying? So like, she knows that, like, though he's being friendly and nice, but like, there's another motive here, So William's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna let you get back to whatever you're doing, and I'll see you later. And like I said, if you want to go, tonight, the rest of us are, going out for drinks and stuff like that. So I'll speak to you later and whatnot. Don't get too caught up in work. She's like, all right. So Winnie's going to continue to work, but in the back of her mind, she's thinking, did he see us? Did he see me and Micheal? Like, maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe I'm overthinking this. Maybe he didn't see us. But what if he did? Despite all these thoughts, in her mind about, Micheal and maybe William seeing something and the campaign, she's just going to continue to just like push those things to the side and just get the work done that she knows she needs to do for the rest of the day. So
slide back, eyes on horizons. Whole time we don't get sunlight. Whole time that I'll sit so right. Head down trying to get on by. Oh, it's so important that I gotta let you know that I know it's hard to let you go.
Alright guys, so we are back with Naomi, and she is actually in the city now. And I know you're probably like wondering like, okay, why is she in the city? And that is because she is here to support her friend Winnie. When Winnie called her the other day, she sounded like she was definitely going through a lot mentally, and though Winnie, didn't go too much into detail, Naomi just has known her so long that she knows, like, okay, she just needs a little bit of support. And actually, Winnie was supposed to call Naomi back, and she just never did. She did send her a text, saying that she was like, okay, that the hangover had dissipated, but nothing too much like she normally would have. So Naomi was just like, yeah, something's wrong with my girl Winnie. So now Naomi is in the city here to check up on Winnie. So currently she's sitting in a cafe getting a little bit of work done while she waits for Winnie to get off of work, and she knows that'll probably be around 5 or so. And so she's just getting a little work done in the city. This is a cafe that she frequently visits anytime she's in the city. She's brought a lot of people here over the years, and so this cafe, of course, is like very special to her. Even when she did briefly stay in the city a couple years ago, this is the cafe she frequented. So this is just kind of like, I guess, a comfort spot for her. So she knows that, like, I can sit here, get some work done, and not a lot of people will be in at this time. So, and as she is working, she's thinking about whether or not she should call Devin. She's in the city, and she knows, of course, Devin lives in the city. And usually when they're in, the area, they will come and meet up with each other, hang out with each other and whatnot. But this time is a little different because this time Naomi and Devin haven't really spoke in a while. Usually they text every other day, something like that. Or if they go a week without talking to each other, they know it's like okay. But like it's been a minute since she's last seen him and spoken to him, whether that's a call or text. So she's like, maybe she's considering whether or not she should text him. She's just, kind of concerned, what I'm saying? Like as much as she tries to like put on and say like, oh, she's not really that affected by it, she doesn't really care, she does, so she's finished her work, and now she's just kind of like sitting here and just like looking around, taking in like the atmosphere of the cafe. She notices something outside, and she's like, is that who I think it is? Like, surely that's not who I think it is. And he's with someone else. So she's not, fully 100%. She thinks like maybe she's like, kind of not seeing correctly. You know what I'm saying? Like, surely that's not him. Like, was not just thinking about him and then there he is. But she keeps studying and looking a little bit longer, and she realizes, yeah, that's definitely him. Now, as much as Naomi thinks her eyes are deceiving her, she is correct. That is Devin. Oh. And it seems like they're having a very heated or interesting conversation, that they're very familiar with each other. Okay, maybe this is what they got going on. In the window, she's just kind of like looking at them, interacting, and she's just like, like, is he seeing her? Like, is this something romantic in a sense? Like, he just told me, that he wasn't seeing anyone, but like, it's, it's okay if he is, but like, he should have told me and whatnot. Like, Naomi's just like, okay, well, let me just pretend like I don't see them. And so she's just going to, continue to drink her drink, check out her computer. At this point, she's just like, maybe I'll just, do some shopping or something so I don't have to think about whatever's going on over there. But yeah, so she's like, what, it's time to go anyway. So she's gonna go ahead and, did I just say you get off this laptop? She's gonna go ahead and get up so she can pack her stuff away, because she knows that, like, okay, Winnie should be off of work by now. So she's gonna go ahead and put her computer in her inventory, and grab her luggage, and she's gonna go ahead and head out, this door so she's not seen by Devin, because obviously he hasn't seen her, or I'm pretty sure he would came up and walked to her. So she's like gonna sneak out the back, and she's just gonna like go ahead and call a taxi, meet Winnie, and catch up with her. So
sometimes my mind is away. I drift into space, don't know where to go. Sometimes I think I'm okay, I'm feeling the same. My reasons are gone. Say my name, cause baby I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling, falling. So won't you say my name, cause baby I'm falling. Yeah, I'm falling, falling for you.
So we have made it to Winnie, and Winnie's just a little bit confused about why Naomi's here. She's like, girl, what are you doing here? She's like, I'm here for you. I can tell you really did need a friend, so I'm here. So Winnie's just like, oh, okay, well. And Naomi's like, I'm just gonna, take out my suitcase. She's like, oh, you brought a suitcase? She's like, how long do you plan to stay? She was like, however long you need me. Whether that's just till tomorrow morning or the rest of the week, I can swing time. So Naomi's just like, you know what? It's interesting that you're here. I just opened a bottle of wine. Then did you want some? And so Naomi's like, girl, did you just offer me wine? Of course I do want some. And so Winnie's just gonna go ahead and they're gonna make their way over here. And so Naomi's just like, oh wow, this is a nice place. They let you stay here. Like, this is really nice. She's like, yeah, our company's pretty big. So Naomi's gonna be like, so girl, how you been? How was work today? I haven't really heard from you in a couple of days. And Winnie's just like, yeah, I'm sorry about that. It wasn't intentional, just had a lot on my mind. She's like, I bet you did. It's been busy. Like, I didn't mean to like not call you back like I said I would. I just have had a lot on my mind. And I was like, yeah, I figured, hence why I came out here. I had to check on you because you go ghost on me. And she's like, it's just been a lot, being out here, seeing Micheal, adjusting to this new campaign and what that might look like. Like, I'm sorry, not them like, girl, this wine is good, but it's just a lot, And so Naomi's like, okay, well, inquiring minds would like to know what happened on that night. Winnie's just telling her like what happened and everything like that. She's like, okay, so he asked me out for a drink to clear the air, and things were just going really good. We were going really comfortable. The drink, was what is gonna happen? We don't do mischief. No. She's like, yeah, everything just was like going so good, and like vibe and the drinks and things like that. And then all of a sudden, like right when we were about to leave, he asked me like, did I want to go back to his house and things like that. And I was like, keep it professional. And then as we were leaving, girl, yes, you can like stories, but she was like, as we were leaving, he went in for a kiss and he kissed me, and then I kissed him back, and then it was just a whole thing, and then it just got a little awkward, so we left. But it was okay after that, I guess. And of course, you already know what happened the next morning. I called you with a big hangover, and all that happened, but it's okay now. And she was like, okay, so have you talked to him? And she's like, well, I did. He actually met me earlier today. She was like, girl, what do you mean I met you earlier today? She was like, yeah, well, he sent me a message early this morning asking if we can meet at the art center. Of course I agreed because he wanted to clear the air. I knew it was probably about the kiss and things like that. And so it was all good, and we agreed that, like I said, this would stay professional. And then he said something about like, girl, what? Did she just hop out of the seat for another drink? I'm sorry. Naomi said, girl, yes. this? Tell me more. Tell me more. I'm sorry. Actually, you know what? You guys can go ahead and move to the couch. So Naomi's walking and she's like looking at her phone to see if she's gotten any messages from you know who, but she's noticing a couple of messages from her sister, and so she's like, okay, well, I'll check that in a minute and whatnot. But so she goes sit down to talk to Winnie again. She's like, pretty much it was all going good until he said that he basically didn't regret the kiss and that he would have did it sober. And Naomi's like, girl, what? That man is bold. And Winnie's like, yeah, he definitely is. He's always been like that. But, he said he would keep it professional. We agreed that we would keep it professional. And that's just how it's going to be. Like, there's no other way it can be, Like, I'm not even, really into him anymore. Like, he still broke my heart. So, I'm good off of him. And I was like, okay, girl, whatever you say. And so basically Winnie's like, you know what? Enough about me and, whatever, it's happening here, because Winnie, she wants to say more. She definitely wants to say more to Naomi, but she is one of those people who doesn't say everything until she's thought about it a couple of times first, right? In the back of her mind, she's thinking about, her coworker William and things like that, and what he possibly could have saw, but she's not going to tell Naomi that until she's certain that there's something to tell, because like, what's the point of telling her if it's just all in her head? When he's just like, like I said, enough about me, like what's going on with you, news in the home front, court cases, like what's not Naomi trying to go to bed, what's going on, at home, And Naomi's just like, not much, still haven't heard from, Devin and whatnot, but, it's so, it's okay, like, I'm kind of used to this, and when he's just like, yeah, did Winnie just disappear into midair? Girl, if you don't get your butt back here, we got Winnie back. I guess she was trying to tell us she was ready to go to bed. And, I think I should, let them go to bed. It is 12:05 a.m. And Winnie, of course, she's still got a lot of work to do. She's got to get up early in the morning. Winnie is so pretty. My goodness, like, look at her. So I'm going to have Winnie talk to Naomi for just a little bit longer. And then, essentially be like, okay, girl, like, as much as I love that you're here for me and support, but I gotta go to work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I go to bed. Like, it's been a very long day. And she's basically like, I appreciate that you've always been there for me, and I will always be there for you. And I just really care about you, and I'm thankful that you're here, because as much as I, would love to handle this by myself, I know that I can't. So I just thank you for being here, but I'm gonna go ahead and head to bed, and there's plenty of food in the fridge if you want some, or imagine you're hungry. And so Naomi's like, all right, well, I'll see you in the morning. I'm not leaving, so you'll definitely see me. So Naomi has decided by herself that she was gonna get some more wine, and I don't blame you, girl, because it's been rough. I can imagine being a lawyer, it being a bit rough, but she's gonna get a little. Not she run into the wine, girl. It's not that serious. She's really tired, but she knows she's gonna get a snack and something really quickly too. Grab her some yogurt and cheese and whatnot, which sounds like an interesting combination, but well, I guess it works with wine, right? Anyways, so she's just gonna sit there and eat her a little bit of something, and she's gonna go ahead and just check her phone, because she had a lot of mixed messages from her sister. And so she's gonna go ahead and text her back and be like, hey, like, did you mean to text me? Cameron. She's like, did you mean to text me? Like, what's going on? And so her sister's like, yeah, I just really need to talk to you. You know, when you get back, I really want to talk to you, like, for real, for real. And sister Naomi's, like, sister senses are tingling. You know, once I handle this stuff with Winnie, I definitely need to check in on my sister because something's definitely wrong, you know. But also, while Naomi has her phone in her hand, she's just feeling a little bit, you know, charged. And she's like, you know what? No, you're not gonna drink no espresso. She's like, maybe I should send a text to Devin. She's gonna send him a drunk text. Oh, hey, I'm just, you know, checking in on you. It's been a minute since I've spoken to you. Girl, she is going through it. It's been a minute since I've spoken to you, and I just want to see if you're okay. He says, hey, I get that you're having a party and all, but that message was largely incomprehensible. Please stop drunk texting me. We're gonna pretend like you didn't say that, okay? You know what he did say? I've been thinking a lot about you too. And so Naomi's just like, whatever. She's like, I'm not gonna think about that too much because we could be here all day. She's just like, you know, I'm just gonna go ahead and head up to bed. I spent so much energy thinking about, of course, her friend, but also her own personal issues, and now this stuff with her sister. So Naomi's gonna get in bed and she's gonna go to sleep. And that is actually where I'm going to end this episode off. Alright guys, that is all for this episode. I really do hope you guys enjoyed it. I really did enjoy jumping back into this LP, into this story. There's so much more in this series that is to come, and I'm just so excited to be able to play those out for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and tell me what you guys think about this episode, about Naomi, Devin. What do you think is happening there? That mysterious woman, who is she? Who do you think she is? What do you think, you know, Naomi's sister has to tell her? What do they need to talk about? And how do you think this situation with Winnie and, you know, her ex-lover slash boss slash current client is going to go? So like I said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
That was just what I needed.